Welcome to the Shane event with your host, Shane Dorr, where we go through some rapid fire with special guests, owner of Southern Honor Wrestling, Gary Lamb.
All right, guys, what's up?
I am thrilled. So when I found out Gary Lamb was coming on the show, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a blast.
No, we're going to have fun. We might piss everybody in the country off, but we're going to have fun.
That's all right. Well, much like our current president, right? But
right.
Hey, but anyway, that's another topic. But hey, so this is the Shane event, Gary. This is literally, so when I find out who we're interviewing or who we're going to talk to, it's literally 10 thoughts, 10 words, 10 ideas, whatever it could be that I think of immediately when I think of the person we're interviewing. All right. So these are just 10 words that I thought of when I found out we were interviewing you. So we're going to go through them. I name one, you literally just spitball whatever comes out of your mouth. It could be one word, a sentence, paragraph, a book. I don't care. We have unlimited time, right, Elliot? Awesome. We ready, Elliot?
Hey, we're ready.
So my first thought, obviously, with Gary Lamb was Southern Honor Wrestling.
The best independent wrestling promotion in the Southeast. Something that I started 3.5 years ago, and I knew nothing about wrestling, but I hated going to indie shows because they were so effing bad. But my kid was into it, and lightning in a bottle. It was just a perfect storm, the perfect partnership. From day one, it's the only thing I've ever done that has been home run after home run after home run. If every business I did could be as cohesive as that, I'd be a multi-millionaire.
Love it. John Rich.
I'm a big John Rich fan. I'm a big John Rich as a businessman fan. I love listening to him. I love his thoughts. I love the fact that he doesn't give two rips what anyone thinks, that he's blazed his own trail. I like that he's created a brand outside of music, because as the music has kind of fallen off, he really hasn't had a major hit in a long time. He's just as relevant and maybe more relevant to a wider audience than ever before. And obviously politically, I line up a lot with him.
Have you heard Progress yet?
I haven't. Is that a new song?
Oh, it's number one on the Billboard charts.
That shows you how out of the loop I am. So here's the deal. My wife says I listen to death country music, meaning depressing, off the charts that you've never heard of, country music that would make you slit your wrist. So that shows you that I don't listen to mainstream music. And let's go back and edit that. He's still as relevant today, even though he's still phenomenal at music. He still made a name for himself, and he's killing it. Matter of fact, have you guys heard his new song, Progress?
Oh, man, it's amazing.
It's wonderful.
The guy doesn't miss. And huge John Rich fan.
Out of curiosity, what's his country music that makes you slice your wrists?
I like red dirt country. I mean, I like a lot of Cole Wetzel and Parker McCollum and Randy Rogers and a lot of local singer-songwriters. I like very subdued. My whole life is chaos. It's insanity at all times. And so I listen to a lot of just chilled out music, a lot of snorting cocaine. My girl left me, took the dog, and I missed the dog type music.
Well, if you just play it backwards, you get them all back. So it's good.
Exactly. But I don't want that positivity in my life. Everything else is positive, so I don't play it backwards.
Have you, by any chance, you heard of a guy named Taylor Engel?
Oh, yes.
That's my brother-in-law.
Oh, well, man, that is a small world. So I'll tell you, maybe we can get into it later. So right before COVID, I was lined up with a group wanting to, they were doing, maybe it was the head of the Jericho cruise, and they were wanting to branch out into different types of cruises. And we were pitching something we were calling the off-road country tour, the off-road country cruise. And we were going to bring in country rappers, red dirt guys, all guys that were very non-mainstream. So we had a list so long full of people, and just got wind this week that might be back on because the cruise ships have finally lifted all their regulations. And so you can't put mask on a off-road country cruise.
True that.
Man, this is already the best Shane event yet. Number 3, because we got off on a tangent there, Action Church.
Action Church. Action Church is the church I pastor. And I know everybody probably just had a heart attack when they found out I pastor a church, but it's church for those who don't do church. It's the island of misfit toys. It's in the ghetto of our city in an old grocery store, 32,000 square feet that we renovated, that we've broken every rule. We don't even have a sign on the building. We don't advertise. We don't market. And yet God sends people all the time that are broke, busted, and disgusted. All the outcasts. It's a church full of bikers, homosexuals, and homeless. It is the oddest mix of people that you've ever met, but it's all people who don't feel like they're accepted and loved in a regular church. And they have found a home there at a 261 Marietta Road. And I think it looks a lot like heaven's going to look like. A bunch of people that don't normally do life together, but they're doing life together. You'll see homeless literally sitting next to millionaires. It is a pretty incredible place.
Wow. That gave you chills. Number 4, Owen Knight.
Owen Knight was our champion for a long time. Underrated to a lot of people. A workhorse, a team player, a guy who does whatever you ask of him, a guy who won me over because, and we'll probably get into this later on, but a guy who I didn't think had the look of what a wrestler should be, or the physique, or the height, or the stature of what a wrestler should be. But when I tell you that he is over like Rover to our crowd is insane about him. And I might be wrong here, but he might be the only person who's been on every Southern Honor show. He maybe has missed a show. I don't think he has, but I think he's the only superstar that we have that has been on every show that we've done.
Yeah, I love Owen Knight.
The working team captain.
The next word is the term hustler.
The term hustler, a guy who's willing to do whatever it takes to provide for his family. I joke that I work 150 hours a week where I don't have to work 40 hours for somebody else. It's a guy who's willing to take a risk, a guy who's willing to lay it all on the line, a guy who his day might start at 4 a.m. and end at 1 a.m. And the next day he might not work at all. You never know what the ebb and flow is going to be. He rides the wave and he learns how to do whatever it is, whether it's flipping hand sanitizer during COVID or being in the process of trying to start a huge festival. It's whatever he wants to do. He does it, and he does it well. And he makes sure that his family and those around him are always provided for.
Awesome. This is going to be a good one. Joe Biden.
He's the president of the United States. And as such, he deserves honor, I guess. But I also think he's an imbecile. I think he's a dumbass. I think that he probably shouldn't be president. And I think those around him probably know that he shouldn't be president. And it's almost, I've shifted over the last year and a half from a guy who doesn't like him to a guy who feels sorry for him, that he would have people that think so little of him around him that they would continually put him in the position they put him in just to be a pawn in their political game. And he's the reason I have to hustle so much because everything keeps going up in price.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably get into that too because, we're real middle of the road people. So like we're able to look at both sides and.
Yeah, I'm pretty middle of the road guy, believe it or not. Until COVID, I was really middle of the road. And when you're in the event business and your livelihood gets taken away from you, you kind of learn to swing to the other side a little bit.
It's crazy, man. What the Democratic Party is doing with him is a travesty.
It's a trap. I literally wasn't trying to be funny when I said that. I went from disliking him to literally feeling sorry for him. I mean, when everyone was mocking him for falling off the bike, my first thought was, who was stupid enough to think he should be on a bicycle? And in his condition and his physical health that he's in and his mental health that he's in. And he is literally the epitome of a pawn in the game.
Yep, I agree 100%. Viral pro wrestling.
So here's the deal. I'm not a wrestling fan, and I know that's going to be really odd on this podcast, and we'll probably get into that a little bit later. I own a very successful wrestling promotion, but I'm not a huge wrestling fan. I don't enjoy it. It's not one of my favorite things to do. I love the carny aspect of it. Viral pro wrestling in the state of Georgia, probably underrated. They meet in a location that's outside of Atlanta, so the mainstream population of our state doesn't hear about it. Draws good numbers. The little bit I know of wrestling seems like they bring in good performers. A lot of people have labeled them a Southern Honor Light. I don't know. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think we've changed to what wrestling is in the state of Georgia, so I don't know why you wouldn't in some ways try to model that. James Caleb Kitchens, I'm friends with him, which is crazy because we're opposite ends of the spectrum. Have a lot of respect for him. Think he did a good job when he was there. Think since he has left, probably the buzz at Viral is not what it used to be on social media and the avenues that I keep up with as a very casual fan. I don't hear very much about them anymore. But is Hancock the guy that owns that place?
Yeah, Josh Hancock.
He's never been anything but nice to me through messages. Seems like a good guy. I enjoyed it when Kitchens was there and was always stirring the pot and fighting with the other group, IWN or whatever they were called.
Who was it? IWE, right? IWE?
Whatever, yeah, intense rest, whatever it was. That was fun to me. I enjoyed that. So now it's just kind of boring to me. I don't really keep up with it. But I do. I think overall they're as good of a second place promotion in Georgia as there is. And I don't think they get enough credit for being in the talk for second best promotion in the state of Georgia.
I mean, nothing wrong with being second best. I mean, shoot,
Yeah, somebody's got to be second. It's the first loser.
I mean, it's not
First and something.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Waffle House.
The Waffle House is the epitome of the South. It's the fuel that keeps us going. It is what I kind of base my events around. I'm in the event business, so every day of an event starts at the Waffle House, and every night of an event ends at the Waffle House. And you can't call yourself Southern if you don't eat the Waffle House. And it's always been there for me. It's never closed. It's always open. There's always a toothless lady behind the counter ready to smile and make me dinner. So what's not to love about it?
Amen.
and we've got 2 within 5 miles of our homes.
Yeah, so we have 7 in the city of Canton. That's all you need to know about Canton, Georgia, right there. We have 7 Waffle Houses. And so that should tell you the demographic of where I do events at.
Well, so I have a friend of mine who he went to college with a guy who's like one of the regional VPs or whatever of Waffle House. And he said, dude, you won't believe the stupid money they get paid. I said, really? He's like, yeah. He said, man,
I actually know a regional manager at Waffle House, and he makes a very, they say it's a great place to work.
Not behind that grill.
So the Waffle House that I go to, everybody on staff there has been there for probably 7 or 8 years that I've been going there.
That's
I don't
same.
think you don't keep people in that line of work if you don't treat them right. So, I mean, they must be doing something right along those ways.
Buddy of mine I went to high school with, he graduated from Clemson. He is now a manager of a Waffle House.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Man, he said, dude, I'd absolutely love my job. I'm like, go for it.
So my son wants to be a chef. And so I have a lot of connections with large restaurant owners, very nice restaurants, 5-star restaurants. And one of them told me, they said, tell him to go work at Waffle House the day he turns 16 and learn all he can. And if he can learn how to work in a restaurant like Waffle House, he'll be able to work in any restaurant in the country. And he did. My son went and worked at Waffle House for a year. And after he'd been there a year, this guy hired him. Wow. And my son just moved to college. And he said losing Avery was horrible because he was so well trained in everything because of the experience he got at the Waffle House.
Yeah. That's awesome.
The term greatest of all time. It can be in any form, any business.
The greatest of all time to me is nothing more than debate. It's nothing more than discussions for podcast because we can debate it all the time. I debate it all the time. I mean, We can debate it in wrestling. We can debate it in basketball. We can debate it in football. Just to be in that discussion, to me, is the ultimate compliment. Obviously, we have a very strong relationship with Chris Jericho, and a lot of people Chris Jericho refers to himself as the GOAT, and other people refer to him that. I think what a compliment to being it. Is he the GOAT? I don't know. We can debate it all the time. There's nothing tangible that makes someone the GOAT, but it makes for interesting discussions as you're sitting around drinking a beer, shooting back bourbon around the campfire, and makes good stuff for podcast.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I do think Jericho's the GOAT, but that's just me.
Yeah, I'm biased in that area, and I think Chris is going to be one of those guys that while he's in the GOAT discussion now, I truly don't think people will appreciate what Jericho accomplished until, unfortunately, he's gone and he's been out of the industry for 5 or 10 years, and people are going to look back at that run. And talking about hustlers, he's the epitome. He is the GOAT of hustling. And I mean, to say he had a dream as a kid to be a rock star and to be a wrestler, and he's done both, and you can't beat that. And so, like I said, our building is kind of the Fozzy headquarters. So most of the band lives here locally. They keep all their stuff in our building. This is where they rehearse for their upcoming tours. And we actually had Chris show up at one of our shows one time, and Chris and Kenny Omega. And so we definitely have a affinity for him, and definitely are biased when it comes to whether or not he's the GOAT.
Well, that's definitely going to be a topic that we talk about because I know exactly what we're talking about, and I've seen it a million times, and I got chills a million times. We'll end up talking about that.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's one of my favorite stories, chills I get. I get chills thinking about it.
And the last one is another person that we're all familiar with, Chip Day.
So Chip Day to me is as good as it gets. When we started Southern Honor, I heard lots of things about Chip that necessarily weren't so pleasant. A lot of people told me that me and Chip would not get along. We avoided bringing Chip in for about 1.5 years. I'm ashamed to say because of those rumors and because of the bad rap that Chip had amongst the people that I hung out with. From the first time that we brought Chip in, I was mesmerized watching him. He's been nothing but a pleasure to work with. Chip, to me, I don't know the story, so I don't want to speak on it. I don't know why Chip didn't make it to the next level. But he will always be the story in Georgia of the one who should have made it but didn't make it. What he does in that ring to me is like, and again, remember, you're talking to pretty much a non-wrestling fan. And I love watching Chip. And I think ring psychology, his skills on the mic, his technical ability in the ring.
His kicks are amazing.
Chip Day's he's amazing. Like I couldn't be a bigger Chip Day fan than I am. And people found that shocking because people literally were looking for me and Chip to come to blows the first time he came in the building. And he had some misconceptions about me. He had listened to some rumors. I had listened to some rumors about him. And the reality is it's been nothing but respect. And I love Chip Day being part of Southern Honor Wrestling.
I think he's an amazing person. And
Great.
Something about his look, man, like the gear that he wears, those shorts. Yep. It's just, I don't think there's anybody that can make them work but Chip Day. I absolutely love the guy. I love him in the ring, out of the ring, and I'm thrilled that we share the same opinion on Chip Day. He's an absolutely amazing individual.
Great. Like I said, I literally cannot think of one negative thing to say about Chip Day. Based on the experience that I have had with him, it has been nothing but a pleasure to work with him.
Well, our own personal experiences with these people are the only real thoughts that matter at the end of the day.
All that matters. I don't care about your baggage. I don't care about what anyone else says. I don't care if what the other people say are true. I care about my interaction with you, and Man, I'm a huge Chip Day fan. Like, I'm a Chip Day fan to the point that one day I see no reason why Chip Day wouldn't be the champion of Southern Honor Wrestling. Like, that's how highly I think of it.
Awesome. Gary, that's it. That's it for the Shane event. That's all 10, but it kind of a little icebreaker to kind of,
Awesome. Well, I hope it was what you want. So,
awesome. Love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it with special guest Gary Lamb and your host of the Shane event, Shane Dorr, and we'll get it popping once again next time.